Shakespeare's Sonnet 1. Sonnet 1. From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die, but as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feedest thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content and, tender churl, maxed waste and niggarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due, by the grave and thee. Summary. In this sonnet, the speaker is urging a young person to procreate in order to pass on their beauty to the next generation, rather than keeping it all to themselves. The speaker laments that by not having children, the person is being cruel to themselves and wasting their own beauty. The last couplet suggests that if the person doesn't have children, they will be like a glutton who consumes the world's beauty without leaving anything behind. Explanation. The sonnet starts with the line, "From fairest creatures we desire increase," which means that we want beautiful beings to reproduce and create offspring. Increase here refers to having children. The speaker's point is that by having children, the beauty of the world can be preserved through the generations, symbolized by, beauty's rose might never die. The next lines, but as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory, suggest that as people age and eventually die, their children, their tender air, can carry on their legacy and memory. The lines, but thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feedest thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, criticize the person being addressed for being self-absorbed, focusing only on their own beauty. This metaphor of feeding their own flame with self-substantial fuel means that they're excessively preoccupied with themselves. Making a famine where abundance lies, thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel, conveys the idea that by being self-centered, the person is causing a scarcity of their own beauty, acting against their own interests, and being unkind to themselves. The lines, "Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content," criticize the person for not sharing their beauty with the world. They're likened to a beautiful ornament in the world, yet they hide their own potential bud, and don't let it blossom fully. The phrase, "and, tender churl, maxed waste and niggarding," accuses the person of being miserly with their own beauty, thus wasting it by not using it for the betterment of the world. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due, by the grave and thee, is a plea for the person to think beyond themselves. If they don't have children, they're like a glutton consuming the world's beauty only for themselves and not sharing it, which is unfair to the world and themselves. In essence, Sonnet 1 addresses the idea of preserving one's beauty and legacy through procreation, suggesting that not doing so is a form of self-centeredness and a disservice to the world. The poem employs metaphors, contrasts, and strong imagery to convey this message.